Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. I'm wearing my new earrings that has a microphone on it. The little earbuds won't stay in my ears, so I'm just lopping them over because I can't hear what you say. And can you hear my voice? Am I there? Can you hear me? Let's see if I'm live, if I can hear myself. Do 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 do. So here we are, and is it weird enough for you yet? Is it strange enough for you? What am I missing? The history guy. History deserves to be. Anyway, let's see. Oh, you can take this. I'm done with this. Do 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 do. Uh, Thank you, dear. Anyway, I'm in the bowels of hell. This is what hell is like. Relatively fair coffee and pretty mediocre food and overpriced. Right? Hmm. So let's go on to this. There I am, live. Right? Live. Do I hear anything? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? So I won't talk too long here. It's 9:30 ish, and I have errands to do, and the place is filled up, and I've had my breakfast, and we're still at 479 subscribers. It always amazes me that it won't go above 500, because then I would go into a different universe in the algorithm, and more people would watch. So they're not getting rid of me. They're just not letting me get above um, 500. So, and that's okay because my raison d'etre isn't like being liked or having likes, but that doesn't mean I don't want you to send me likes. Send me likes, but really send something on my PayPal. I could really use it. Beginning the end of the month, it's when I have no money. So I'm anyway. I'm trying out I found these earbuds with a microphone, and I'm trying them out. So um, that is the denim law. And but I want you to think about what are you doing in your neighborhood, you know, and you know you can do anything, book club, potluck dinners, parties. I've been going. I met these three women. Three women have come into my life. A like real super duper lawyer. She's a admiralty lawyer, which is like yep. And I used to work for guys like her. And she's big, big, big time, right? But she's kind of semi-retired. But only because she hates the human race and she's out there. And I live out in the deep green. She lives out in the middle of the middle of the middle of nowhere in the deep green. So she tried to find me uh, uh, yesterday. I invited her over to make her dinner, and I made dinner, really nice dinner. I cooked a chicken with vegetables, cayenne and coumarin and very Middle Easterny thing, and potatoes and cabbage and lots of yummy stuff, and which is fine because that's my meal for the rest of the week, right? And she could still come over and I could still feed her. I had a really nice Italian liqueur because she likes liqueurs. Anyway, she got lost, and it was a beautiful day. I'll take the change, and so anyway, so I just called her, and it's like like I said, 9:30, and she was still asleep. I mean, that's how retired she is. She doesn't wake up, so I got to give her a call. She goes, "Call me after 1. I'll be awake." I said, "Are you okay that you couldn't find?" Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you'll have to take me there. And I said, "Right, because I can't find her place. I had to be taken to her place." So that's the lawyer. Then there's this lady who is like Miss Flower Child, and she has these little shops all over the hollers where she, sells quote unquote hippie. Now, you, whoa. Let's see. You take that. And I take this too. I don't need that to clog up my pocket. Yeah. So, so I basically, you know, um, um, so that's that girl. I call her the flower child Midas because she does amazing. She's an amazing salesperson, right? And the third is this amazing horse trainer and vet and you name it, everything horses, right? She is Miss Horse, and she's in her 60s, and she looks like she's in her 20s, but she can. I went over to see her, and she was like throwing bales of hay. I used to do that. I can't do that now. She's not quite as old as I am, but she is quite fun and quite interesting. And anyway, it's interesting. I'm looking at the uh, the timer, and I've only been on for a few seconds, and Roy says I've been here 7 minutes, and the second timer is just going click 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 click. Click. I mean, and that's what's going on with time and space. If you haven't noticed, it is totally strange. And what are you gonna do? You know, if you just sit around with your same crappy job, um, nothing's gonna change. I'll show you pictures later. The lighting isn't um, appropriate for it. So, you know, what can I say? But what are you doing? And can you hear what I'm saying? You know, can you hear me now? So I'm just checking in, just checking, see how you're doing, um, and giving you an experience of if you don't do something with your life, this is what the rest of your life is going to be into eternity. You won't be able to sleep. There'll always be two of these lights right in your, always watching you. These are the eyes. The eyes of the hidden hand are upon you. If you have a smartphone or a laptop or any kind of internet device, you're being observed, And if you don't know that, if you don't realize that this whole digital world that's so convenient is just a surveillance economy, Google should be paying us, you know, but they're not. Oh, you're getting this for free. There's nothing free, guys. They have. You are just an algorithm. You are like, what was it? Keanu Reeves in the bathtub, right, with a shaved head. That's you, with a big spike up your brain, you know. And unless you can be aware of that, unless you can navigate it, So yeah, I'm living like a millionaire on $400 a month. I mean, I still have money to, I paid $16 for two um, softball eggs and English muffin with some potatoes. Not a lot of potatoes, just potatoes on top of the English muffins with hollandaise sauce, and they call it Irish eggs Benedict, right? And that's not, I lived in Ireland. That's not it, right? So anyway, what can I say? But here it is Monday, you know. Here it is the 6th of June, and time is flipping by, you know. And the war in the Ukraine is just you know, a oh, what would you say? A distraction, right? Because there's so many wars, you know, Syria, you know, Lebanon, uh, you know, a ton of things going on in Africa. The thing that Saudi Arabia is involved with, and you know, China and Taiwan, all of the above, the craziness in Central and South America, and we did that. Not we, but Iran Contra brought us the immigration from the South that we're having. And what's going to occur is that within your lifetime, there's going to be a flip. If you look, I don't know how, see, not many people do the kind of studying that I do. And all through our geologic history, even in trees, there's a history of, you know, cold snaps, you know. Back in the 1600s, there was a volcano that caused the whole world to not have summer, meaning the Thames in July were frozen, right? And so we're going to have an experience like that, one of those, you know, and it was like that for about 4 years, and that brought us the Dark Ages, and you know, half the human species died in Europe. And so, you know, that's what you had to look forward to, right? Now, if that were to happen, you know, a limousine would show up or a helicopter would show up and say, Dr. Al Bob, can you please come with us? You know, and I would because they'd need me. Right now, they don't. So I'm out there in the woods living like a millionaire on 400 bucks, right? And that's fine by me. And as long as the moron rich people who have descended like a genetically engineered locust cockroach, and they're just eating my beautiful little 200 square mile accordion of Sawtooth Mountain Range. And they have no idea what they're doing, and they're just cutting the tops off the mountains to build big houses on top, which is causing the water table to totally. And you know, we live in a rainforest, and in the last 10 years it has gotten drier and drier, but still it's a rainforest, so we're not experiencing what California has to offer. But you know, between 11 and 3, if you're out in my place out in the open, it's like you know, being in a microwave oven, right? But the evenings are in the 50s, and the days don't get above 80, right? But in the sun, the UV goes beyond my UV meter. You know, my UV meter goes all the way up to, if you're in the sun now, you're going to die, right? Well, my UV meter goes all the way to that, and then click, 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 and all those clicks mean an order of 10 higher. So that's pretty, and I'm only at about 3,200 feet. So anybody above that is it's even worse. See, I mean, those people who live in Boulder, good luck. They're dead, you know, because UV will go through your house. I mean, my man cave is underground. It's a, you know, travel trailer buried, right? And I grounded the travel trailer so it's a Faraday cage. So, you know, it's somewhat protected, right? And my cabin, or what I had to legally call the garage, is has a metal roof. And when I built the metal roof, I put that, and then I had all this copper like screening. You know, I did a architectural job with, you know, they wanted screened in porches and they wanted copper for some unknown reason. They bought $1 million worth of that crap, and I had about 4 rolls after the end of the job. And I said, this will make a good Faraday cage. So, you know, I put the fiberglass insulation, and then I put the copper on top of that, you know. And so there was the metal roof, the, you know, fiberglass insulation with paper, and then, you know, copper screen. And then I grounded that, and bingo, there I had. Hey, Janie Pooh. Yeah, up early. Um, as the summer approaches, the sun changes. So I'm down in a holler, and so normally I don't get any light in my little, and I'm underground. I have three windows that light can come in, and right now the sun is coming in certain ways that it comes in what the far end window, and it goes through the blinds, and it makes nice kind of images uh, into that part of the man cave. And I have mylar all over the place to keep me somewhat warm, right, during the winter, right? That whatever radiant heat I'm giving off, the mylar bounces back, and also it's another layer of Faraday cage. So so that light bounces off of that, and then it's all crinkly, so it goes all over the place. So this morning, the sun, around 7 o'clock, came my way, and I said, "Oh, look at that!" So I got up and I turned on the. Normally, I get up so late, it's too late to turn on the sprinkler in my garden. But this morning, I got up, I turned it on, and I sprinkled my garden for about 30 minutes, and I turned it off, got my stuff together, and came here for Eggs Benedict or Irish Benedict, and which they charge $12. Probably cost them all of 30 cents. Right? So, and it's okay. Their coffee is pretty good. So they let me sit here, and they have Wi-Fi and stuff. I've read everyone's palm here. When there's not a few more than a few people here, I hold court and entertain the masses. So anyway, that's why I'm up and about. But I'm just giving you, as of May 18th, I've been doing this for 4 years. Now, I'm not, I can't get above 500, so I'm stuck on the form of the algorithm for YouTube, which is fine. They don't bother me of what I say. They don't, you know, there is no demonetizing because, until I get above 500, I mean, they have got a hold of me a couple of times. We love what you do. We'd love to back you. We'd love to make you a star, but we have to own you. I said, what? Oh, yeah, we have to own you. I said, what? I said, well, we want to, brand you. And you can say whatever you want within a parameter of what we tell you can say. Meaning, if you want to go full bore. If you don't want to, make a lot of money and be super famous and just say what you want to say, well, then this is where you're going to be. And so they were at least quite honest, So you know, and at some point, I'm ready. So Jane, can you hear me? I'm using this little microphony thing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I found these. I was looking for a phone number and I was looking through my bag. Why do they make bags black on the inside? Because it swallows everything. Can't see anything, right? So it's about not. What time is it? Boop, 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 boop. Oh, it's 9:30, right? So I'm going to go run some errands, and then I'm going to um, probably do another live chat around lunchtime, give or take. Uh, yes, I can hear you. Good, good, good. So this thing works. Do I sound good? Do I sound yummy? So is that animal there? Is that a dog or a wolf or a coyote or what kind of animal? Or a cat or a frisky cat? A cat with an attitude. Jane, what is that animal there? Anyway, so here I am. Can you hear me, dog? Yes, and Jane says she can hear me. So please send me some money on the old PayPal. Could really use it. Thank you for the few people who have sent it. You know, um, you sound fantastic. Good. So I'm going to try and use these earrings all the time since I sound fantastic. Right? So Boo, 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 boo. Mm. Ooh, coffee, I love it. And so, as I see, so I've been doing this thing for 4 years since May 18th, right? And I've been away from the school. John threw me out. Oh, around September of 2017, 18 maybe. And I really haven't been back to school. A couple times, like I spent January and a good chunk of February with John until he became too abusive. And I can't, I'm not there. If I can't help John, I'm not going to be there. If he wants to go on about things, and he says, it'd be interesting if he said different things, but he says, I've known him almost. Well, I probably met him in 2012, so that's almost 10 years. And he's been saying the same thing. It's my parents' fault. It's all their fault. I should be, I'm the best movie maker. Blah 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 blah. Just to see. Let's see what our boy is doing. Uh, Here's the latest from Johnny Boy. I think that's John's. What that is? Skip ad. That's what that is. So there's the school. That's what I lived in for about 15 years. There's Johnny Boy. Yeah. Yep. He wants Jesus to save him. And boy, doesn't he look good. So that's all John does. He tries to, he cannot talk about anything but Jesus and how good he looks. I think those tits are pretty good. Is he sucking it in? What do you think? Yeah, he went off to California to be a movie star, and he spent about 2 weeks freaking out. So I don't even know what that is. So he lives in beauty, right? You should be walking around that thing every. I made a really great spiritual path, and he never takes it, and I did it so I could survive. That's how I lost 200 pounds. And put those stairs in. Right? And there's the car his mommy and daddy gave him. So when he went to California, he got so freaked out he couldn't drive back. So he left the car there, and his parents had to ship that car back. Right? And it didn't fare too well, so mommy and daddy gave him a new car. Now he wrote a vitriolic, God, amazingness, and let's see who's calling in. Oh look, it's our boy, the Craig. Hey, the Craig, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm in Boone at what you call it? Where am I? I'm at the Sunrise. You know the Sunrise?
Yeah, sunrise breakfast.
Yeah, Sunrise Breakfast. Yep, yep.
Cool. That's a good spot.
Yeah, I had Irish eggs Benedict, and I'm doing a live chat. Say hi to the people,
Hi, people.
right? The cadre, they're all here, and I'll probably be in And party, and the 10 other people who just wanted to show up on, they were all kind of lawyery people, and they had no real, there was nothing in them to talk about that was interesting. And so, within an hour they left. And so we sat there and sat on our porch, and she turned all the lights out, and the night got dark. And once it got dark, I wasn't going nowhere. There was no way that I was going to see what was going on. So I stayed there. So, and this whole area is super paranormal. So we all told her, and all three of them had been in this neck of the woods as long as I have, and in the same time, I mean, they weren't born there, but they, just kind of stumbled in here 10, 15, 20 years ago, and did their thing. And so we all told our ghost stories, and I didn't, I just shut up and asked. Really, that's when I became the investigator, right? And I would just ask, interesting, the right question that would then have them tell deeper into the story. And so we spent the whole freaking night telling stories like that. And that was like really, and that's when all the animals came out, and Bigfoot showed up and sat down and brought some good skunk, and we smoked the night away. So, so it was quite a fun evening. And then we stayed there until the sun rose, because none of us were going to figure out how to get out of there until the sun rose. And so it did. And it was really, that was not this weekend, but last weekend. And they are really active. The Flower Child lady, she really is an actor. She knows everyone, and what musician. And so I'm having my eyes worked on. She's inspired me to have my cataracts so I can drive at night. And because she goes out all the time to people's homes and they play music all night long. And so, yeah, I want a little bit more of that. So the lawyer lady has started. She can do anything via the law. So we're going to start a religion. I mean, a real religion. Get our 501c3, be tax free. Go the whole Monty. So that's my summer project,
Very cool. Yeah.
and so that's where I'm at. So what are you up to?
Um, just we had a big night in town. Angelo brought in Leonard Skinner.
Oh, that's cool. Where did he
So-
play?
What's up?
Where did he play?
So yeah, that Angelo set up behind the bayou. So the guy, the drummer Artemis, the original drummer, and the guy that survived the plane crash.
Oh.
He was there, and then another dude, the one of the guys is a musician, and I mean it's magical. Angelo created this little backyard right behind the bayou, and
Yeah, the grassy part, like on the other side of that roadie thing there, behind the bayou. Yeah.
Well, now there's the band shell he built
Yeah, yeah.
there, and now he put this like fake grass, like the best fake grass you could buy, and he's turned it into a hangout, and he closed off the bayou, which was kind of interesting, and it kind of pissed off some people. And see, this thing he did was for the Prime 21 Steakhouse. It was like a members event, like members only. These people that are paid private, they're like, it's a private country club, the steakhouse.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, what do people expect? That is Banner Elk.
It's becoming that. Yeah,
I mean, that's what Banner Elk is. So they shouldn't complain. It's the rich own everyone, and they should not. They're just serfs. They should not complain. They should know their place.
Well, yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah. So,
Yes,
I mean,
you. Yes. Well,
did
did you complain? No, you know your place.
Right. Yeah. No, he invited me, and
Of course.
it was beautiful. But it was, you could see, and of course, ironically, people are busting his balls about how he built that thing, and we're separate, and everyone's like, "Why are you on that side? How'd you get on the VIP side?" I was like, I just walked around the corner there, but still, but then of course my Sabrina, my good friend Sabrina,
Right.
who's got all her country issues,
Right.
and then my old boss, the place I just left, they got the brawl on the bayou side, and I was like, look, you're proving Angelo's point. That's why the riffraff is going to fight on this beautiful occasion that you presented to the town, and you guys got to cause a fucking fight. It was kind of ironic how that all worked out.
Well, it's not ironic. That's how it works out.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But to get to experience that was really a beautiful,
Well, that's great.
beautiful night. And then one of the youngins who's wanted to do acid with me for a while threw me a piece of acid last night, so I decided to go with that.
So a micro dose or the full Monty?
I did a full one. I mean, those guys were doing more. They wanted to do silly shit. Like I got to hang out with. It's actually back in the place where I used to party with these guys late night, and I haven't really done that in a while. So I just felt like that was okay. This is what I'm supposed to do on the night of the Skinner concert. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
So I was hanging out, and these guys wanted to do silly shits with knives, like doing this game where they chop their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not really into that. You guys enjoy. Yeah, I went in the other room, and then they wanted to go on this adventure again, like trying to hurt themselves on skateboards. And I was like, I'm not down. You guys go. I'm just gonna hang out here on the couch.
So who ended up in the emergency room?
I don't know.
No one really.
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Okay.
At this point, but there was another. Talk about it, just another momentous day in town, and this for a bad way. This one, but there's also a driver that Angelo has kept around for years. Apparently, killed himself yesterday morning. That's how the day started.
Killed himself like accident, or he ate his gun.
Shot himself in the head. Down in Boone.
Yes, he ate his gun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, what better place to eat your gun than Boone? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he was. We were all worried that he was going to shoot somebody else at some point. So there's that. We can say at least he didn't take anybody with him. Hopefully he's at peace now. He's at a more peaceful place. But that was it's just one of those days of yesterday that would never be forgotten in this town.
Right.
So many big things happened, mostly beautiful things. And
so I don't know if I ever told you my story about finding. I was an EMT at a volunteer fire department in upstate New York near Cornell, right?
Yeah.
Right, told you that. And the majority of the things we did was our house was right by this interstate where instead of having a clover leaf, they had two interstates just doing X across each other. So every week a gigantic truck would run over a little car or a motorcycle. And so we really saw death. It was like Ukraine, it was like really 3 times a week we do that. And the other thing that we would experience. There was, on the other side of our little town, Verna, um, was um, a old folks' home. That wasn't a building. The guy just had, trailers. It was like FEMA trailers for old folks that he got, that were too deadly to use at down in Louisiana. So he got them for nothing, and he put old folks in them because they're going to die anyway. And he would get their checks from Social Security and keep their money, and they'd have a place to stay. And it was pretty horrific. And I would say maybe somewhere between 1 or 5 people would eat their gun a month. And that hill had been a Cherokee burial ground, right? And not Cherokee, Mohawk. And so a number of times we would be called to clean up the mess, and because we were good with the mess, and there was this highway patrol guy he was schooled in that, and then the the medical examiner, ME, his boys would be there, and we would put the mess in a bag and they'd take it away. But sometimes we go there and there would be spirits in the trailer. And more than twice in the 3 years that I did this, the guy would be in his Easy Boy recliner. His head would be blasted all over the back wall, and his spirit would be still in his body, and his head would be talking, like parts of his mouth would be splattered on the wall, and it'd be screaming, "I'm still alive! I'm still alive!" And so, whenever you eat your gun or commit suicide, that is usually the experience you have for who knows how long. Forever, a few seconds. It's I don't really know, but it's not good to eat your gun. There's always a cost. There's always a cost.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You know.
It's funny you mentioned paranormal, a couple things there, and the animal thing. Like I had a really bittersweet experience with a groundhog the other day.
Wow.
And he was almost dead in the middle of the road. And so I saw his foot, like, kind of almost waving to me. So I got out. And I was distraught, of course. I hate when I see that.
Right.
And so I got out, and then I was kind of choked up. I could see that he was still just barely alive, and traffic was coming, but they were running over the middle. They weren't crushing him. So then my friend Bart showed up, and I said, "Do you have something in your car?" He goes, "You want me to go get a gun?" And I said, "No, I don't want to do that." I said, "I don't want to see that. I don't." I said, "Do you have something maybe we could use to move him off the side of the road?" And so he grabbed an umbrella, and I went, and I slowly, like, I could see there was blood coming out of his mouth, but he was still breathing and just gasping, for life.
Right.
And so I was pushing him with the umbrella slightly and slowly, and people were watching and waiting for me to do that in traffic, which is beautiful. They're watching me and I think cheering me on or whatever. And I get him to the side of the road. And then I called. Now, I'm on the clock, by the way. I had just run to the store. I'm working prep, and I got to get back there with the fucking mushrooms and shit. And so now I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I called the Lees McRae Wildlife Center that's rescues all kinds of animals. And I called them, and she said, "Well, can you bring it to us?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "I'm on the clock, and I don't know what to do." And she said, "Just grab a towel or a box." And of course, I was cautious because a wild animal like that that's in this pain could be bad. But I went to the road. I picked him up in the towel, and he was just barely alive though. And I put him on my seat, and then I got in the car and I drove him. I was the ambulance for the groundhog, and I just freaking drove to the thing. And I called my boss at work and said, "Look, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to save this groundhog. I'll be a little bit, but I'll get there. I'll be back." He's like, "Okay, cool, do your thing." And then I get there, and they were like, I'm petting him the whole way,
right,
and praying for him with all my might, and talking to him and telling him, "God loves you. God loves you. I'm here with you. God loves you." And I felt his soul. I felt the soul with me, and I felt like this was better than blowing his brains out, to at least be there for him for this period of time. And then when I got there, the nurses, the ladies came right out. It was like a movie, and they're like, "Oh, is he still alive?" And I said, I don't know. And I gave him to him, and then kind of went in the corner to just kind of cry. And then it came out pretty soon, and I knew it was bad. And they said it was a she, and she didn't make it.
right.
And I think she might have died in the car with me. but I feel like I had that beautiful connection with this soul for that period of time. And I had already thought about before that I wanted to kind of come up with a prayer for situations like that. And so I've kind of tweaking that prayer, and I just felt like this was I wrote a little story about it. Miss Groundhog, my friend forever. I only knew you for 20 minutes, and probably the worst time for you, but I'm glad I got to be there.
Well, in actuality, from my experience of all the death I experienced, death ain't that bad, you know.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. But I just, it
And
was.
death is not.
And then, so the next day, I mean, well, several Groundhog things happened that night. Of course, I went to bed watching Willy Wonka, and then next, I wake up an hour or two in, and Groundhog Day's on the movie.
I was just about to say, Bill Murray was in your bedroom.
Yeah. And then, if that wasn't enough, I get this National Calendar Day every night that tells you what tomorrow is. And so I get the National Calendar for the next day, and it says a couple things. One of it said Repeaters Day. Right. And I was like, oh, is that my buddy Dave? When he gets drunk, he's always repeating himself. So I looked at, you can link on it to see if you don't understand what they mean. Right. So I look on Repeaters Day, and it says do something twice, like eat the same thing that you had at lunch for dinner. Do something twice. And they said reminiscent of the movie Groundhog Day, and that too happened that same night. So it's like, man, these groundhogs, I'm bonded. And then just yesterday, on the porch, on the stoop, there was a groundhog out front, like he's looking for me, or saying thank you, or who knows. Yeah.
Well, I mean, every day is like that as long as you keep your eyes open,
Absolutely, yes. And
conscious awareness. If you are seeing what's going on.
On that note of this premonition, this stuff that's happening now that is definitely mystical, and I had a premonition on my walk yesterday that I'm going to see a snake, and I haven't seen snakes. I rarely see snakes up here, but I was just like, I have a snake tattoo on my head because that's what came out of the machine right now, the fake tattoo, and so I just had this premonition that I'm going to see a snake on my walk yesterday, and after I forgot about that, on the tail end of my walk, there's this long 6-foot black snake just poking out of the grass. Yeah. And I just was like one of those moments, like I can't, no way.
In Virginia, I had a good buddy. I called him Inky, and he used to hang out in the ceiling of my neighbor. And every time I would go visit her, and we'd have lunch out on her porch, Inky would slither out of the house and come down the trellis and come over to us, and we would leave little things on the floor, and so the three of us would have lunch. And that was Inky. Inky was a great guy.
I mean, I've gotten over that. I did have a very big fear. I've gotten pretty comfortable with it. I didn't get too close to him when I was racing, but I was just like amazed. Yeah, snakes has been.
Well, black snakes won't hurt you. I mean, they don't. I mean, if he was a copperhead or a rattlesnake, you don't hang with those guys.
Avoid them, I killed one snake once, and I'm never going to do that again, unless it's literally trying to kill us.
Pretty much all you got to do if a snake is in your house. I just one snake. Actually, I had these rattlesnakes when I bought the school. They hung out in the basement. And I went down there and I said, listen, guys, you got the whole forest to go hang out in. And in about, I don't know, a couple of days, the owls will be here. And I'm just going to leave this door open. And if, you're not going by the time they show up, you'll be lunch. So they left, But you don't play with rattles or copperheads. But anybody else, pretty much black snakes, they're great. They eat mice and rats and all that, voles.
I don't want anybody to get eaten. That's the thing.
Well, it's the circle of life.
I know.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you eat meat, don't you?
I try not to.
But you still eat it, right?
Rarely. Yeah, but sometimes, yeah. If I'm at Angelo's Steakhouse and he's offering me a piece of meat at the finest steakhouse in town, then I'm going to enjoy that moment. And sure, last night they were passing around prime rib sandwiches, but I was almost too in the moment to want to eat.
Right.
So
he's opened up his Gaylor Steakhouse, and it's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean he's got tons of members, and they're all battling each other for bragging rights, and everyone's excited about it. And that was kind of the kickoff. That was just. He just he loves to under promise and over deliver. So that's what he did last night. He pulled in fucking Leonard Skinner in the park.
So what time did they go on and what time did they go off?
They went on at like 7, and then probably till about 8:30, maybe a little bit later. They were scheduled for an hour and 20 minutes is what the deal was, and they went probably a little bit over.
Right.
And then the guys were hanging around, so I got to go shake the hand of the guy, the drummer, and I was the one out in the lawn that they loved with the hippie hat dancing and into it as much as anybody.
Yep, yep.
It was a blast. It was unbelievable.
So, do you have any days off this week?
I have, what's today? Monday, so I have tomorrow off.
You want to come and visit?
I don't know. I got to honestly catch my breath. I would love to, but I got to, number one, money is a big thing. I'm sucking wind on that.
Right.
So I am working a shift tonight at that place, Pinola Inn, the other job I've been doing. So I'm doing that. And then I got to kind of lick my wounds and figure out about rent tomorrow. That's number one. And then
the oil price, I mean, the gas is really, I go out maybe once a week,
Yeah.
I really, that's
I know,
okay by me.
I've even noticed it, and I barely drive here, but I do notice it. I throw in $25, and then 2 days later, I got to fill up, and that's not like it. That's not normal for me.
Right. And $25 for like 3 gallons. It's like, come on.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I would almost like to head down there to Boone, but I got to try to recover here and then get to work by 4.
Yeah. I got you.
I haven't eaten. I got to worry about food and other stuff too. But
you don't nibble at work?
Well, now that I've gone back to Angelo's, apparently they've gotten really tough on these rules. But yes, most of the places you go to, yes, I get to eat at work, but not, tonight, that place, yeah, you can. But I'm just talking about I haven't eaten since this acid trip.
Oh, yes. Right.
So I'm about ready to, and I don't have much in the house, so I got to figure all that out. But it's all good. It's just beautiful.
Right. I've been mostly eating. I'm waiting I got my garden in and it's popped up, and so it's doing pretty good. But I'm still just eating daisies. That's the last 3 weeks. That's been my major diet.
Daisies?
Yeah, daisies are really good for you. It's the highest in vitamin C and other trace elements. It's good for your digestion.
Those are the ones that are like white with the yellow in the middle?
No, they're the ones that are they're big yellow things. And then in a week or so, they turn into the puffy thing that blows away.
Oh, yeah. Those are all over the lawn out here.
Yeah. Well, when they're yellow, just lean down, pick them up and eat it. And the leaves that are spiky, right?
Yeah.
That's better than any lettuce you could buy at the super whoopee fancy store.
Which leaves?
Of the same plant with the big thing that then turns into the white puffy thing. The green leaves of that are really, really good for you, and they taste great. You get them. I go with my little basket and a pair of scissors and clip them, and then I clean them.
Do you skip?
Skip what?
Like when you're going to get them and do with your basket, do you skip?
Well, if the skipping moment happens, yes, I skip.
I can just see, picture you in there, prancing around with the little basket.
Yep. If I am naked, I will skip. When I'm naked, it kind of motivates me to skip.
Right, you got to prance a little bit.
Yeah, got to prance. Yep.
In the backyard here.
And so anyway, but they're everywhere. So I come out of the man cave, and then they're all there. And in the morning, when the sun comes up, but the sun hasn't come into my little holler, that's when they're like, whoa, really having a good time. And then the buttercups come out when the sun hits it. And then my whole lawn in the last week or so is just gigantic, just a lawn of buttercups. And they love the sun. As soon as the sun goes back behind the mountain, they close up. So
what are the buttercups? What do those look like?
Buttercups are they're little yellow flowers that are on a long stem that can be anywhere from 6 inches to almost a foot. And they kind of go up because they're looking for the sun. And when the sun is hitting them, they open up and they're just screaming yellow. And then when the sun doesn't hit them, they close up. And then you don't see them. They're almost invisible. So my lawn goes back to being green. When the sun is hitting it, it's like super yellow, and then
I'm picturing Willy Wonka eating that teacup, and that's what he was saying. Eat that, you could eat that. Everything here is edible. You could eat just about everything.
Right, pretty much. Well, that was his. What was that land called?
The Oompa Loompa land.
Yeah, could have been that. Yes, whatever it's called, but that place, yes.
Yeah.
Well, not you
can't.
Room. Right.
You can eat everything is eatable, edible. You can eat everything.
Well, not every plant almost on
Right.
in the deep green is edible. Some of them you have to cook because they're a little bitter if you don't cook them. But otherwise, they're kind of yummy. So that's what I've been eating for the last month. Is what's going
Yeah,
on.
I hear you. I'm just about to get there. I got some beans in the fridge, and that's about it.
Right. So, like I said, you see a daisy, and it's really good for your digestion. Super duper in vitamin C and E and a few other things. And so
I'll
that's
just dip it in ranch.
right.
That's what we do.
No. Go. Just try. Try. Just pick it up and pop it in your mouth. And I have no teeth, so I have to
Yeah.
let it masticate. It kind of dissolves in my mouth.
Yeah, suck a buttercup or a daisy.
Yeah, right, exact. Well, buttercups not so much.
Right.
They're like, yeah, I mean they're great to look at. I mean, like I said, that whole lawn I have, that goes down and up and goes up to the garage and goes to man cave. Early in the morning, by the sun hits it by about 10:30. From 10:30 till 4, when the sun goes to the other side of the hill, that whole thing is yellow. So you know what it looks like as green as my lawn, but just think of it all frigging yellow. And I planted on that thing that goes from my driveway up to my deck. Over the years, I planted a zillion flowers, and they come up all different times. From early April all the way till October. So right now, it's covered in what you people would think. Oh, those are weeds. No, they're herbs. I have all kinds of medicinal herbs there, so I don't have to go in the forest. They're right there. But sprinkled
Right.
amongst them is a ton of flowers that just keep coming up every other week in a different flower. So it's starting to be really. It is already really beautiful. It started being really
Yeah.
beautiful in May, and it's now really beautiful for the rest of the summer. And the cockroach locust. I don't know where they went, but they're not. They bought all the properties, and but they're not around. So it went back to being quiet, and the birds came back, and the animals came back, and it was all good. Anyway, that sounds great. Like you always have the invitation, and next time I come into when I'm with one of these ladies and we want to take a road trip, we will take the back way through the hollers into Banner Elk and come to see if we can find you. So you're either working at whatever that place used to be called.
Bara, I'm starting back at Bara Wednesday, and I'll be back there 4 days a week with Angelo.
At Angelo's bar?
Yeah.
The one with the paintings in it?
Yep.
Okay. So he still has his paintings up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wouldn't take them down.
Actually, yeah. That one guy, one of my buddies, was trying to buy one last night, so I'm gonna see if I can get something off it. If he's willing to
commission.
up the price.
Right, commission. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll be back there. That's good. I'm happy to go back there. And then the other place is a really interesting place, the Pinola Inn, where you meet a lot of interesting characters because it's an inn. Plus, you get locals that come there. And
Which one is that? Is that in town or is that
off in like Linville?
Oh, over there, kind of going towards Johnson City, or the other way?
The other way.
Okay.
So that's a really interesting place. The owners are really nice. And like last night, I was actually supposed to work for them, and he's a musician too. They're really interesting people. They lived in an RV for like 6 years, and now it's high end. I mean, they've got money. Obviously, they spent a few $1 million on this property.
Right.
But they have a really cool concept, and it's got RV stops and everything in the back. It's huge. And so it's just a fun setup there. And like last night, I was supposed to work for them, and Angelo, I had already said I would work for them, and then Angelo told me about this Leonard Skinner thing, so I didn't want to push them because they really wanted me to help them last night since they had friends in town. And so at the last minute, once I'm working there, I figured Angelo kept saying, "You got to make it. This is going to be huge." And I said, "I'll see what I can do." And then he called me when I was working last night. And I said to the lady, I just dropped a hint to see if she would bite. I said, "Look, there's Leonard Skinner playing downtown, and I got an invite." And I know that you guys had a long night, and I can't ask you to do that, but and she went over and talked to her husband in the corner, and then came over and said, "Get the hell out of here! You got to go."
Right. So did
And
you were you hanging out with Leonard Skinner in the green room?
no, I was hoping he had the camper was right there, so
Right.
the big trailer was there, and I was kind of me and a couple of the guys were kind of not scheming, but thinking how cool would that be if we get in there. We were trying to goose Angela to kind of work our way over there. I was hoping to get high with these guys or something, but we didn't. We never made it up there, but I was hanging around the trailer and just got to kind of talk a little bit and hear a couple stories, but yeah, it was magical.
Well, that's great. You know, that's what life's about, those magical moments.
Exactly. That's really what it was, and that's what he created. And I was so thankful to him, and just to be a part of it, and the whole town. He was just glowing, to create that experience for everybody. He knew
Yeah.
how big that was for all of us, and even us Riff Raff got to enjoy it.
So did he build a stage so he can do other events like that?
Yeah, that's what he did. There's a whole stage there that he built, and then he, like I said, he just keeps perfecting, and that's what I say it to people all the time. But it's not blowing sunshine up his ass. He's a visionary.
Right.
He comes up with these ideas, and then he was able to create that experience for all of us that we'll never forget. And he was just glowing. He was glowing. He knew, that he really enjoyed, just all the joy he created for all of us.
So did he? Is there an electric service out there? Did he have a generator or a long extension cord?
I don't know. I can't answer these questions. I just saw they had it all wired. I mean, there is pretty much they keep wiring there, I think, all the time now. So
All right.
the only downside to that is that there's so many kids were finding that stage, and I was telling you, it was so beautiful that as a side effect, you got little kids jumping on stage and having the best time, and now they're trying to keep the kids out of there because of the wiring, which is understood.
Right.
But he's got the grass that he created that everybody could, hang out on too. So it's really beautiful what he's created. That was just a perfect example for our little thing. Just banner up to have Leonard Skinner out on the lawn.
So how many people were in the audience? Would you say?
Probably 80.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 100, and mostly it was the VIPs. Well, you had both. You had the mix. You had the Bayou crowd on the other side with fights, and then you had the rich folks over here, with all derbies.
So the Bayou crowd were like fenced in. They couldn't go into the VIP.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Although I was leading them in like fucking Schindler's List.
Right.
And I was saying, "Here, come this way. Don't worry about it."
Like Schindler's List.
Yeah. Like, hey, well, even the one security guy is, a little uptight. I said, "Hey, can my friend come in? She just got fired. Can she come in?" He goes, "No." I said, "All right." I walked her around the long way,
Right.
through the fucking bar. There we go. Next thing you know, we're all in.
Right.
And he's up there giving, probably going, "You fucking Craig."
Giving you the stink eye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, lighten up, Francis. No.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, it was wonderful.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you. What is the abbreviation of your
Mojaf.
LoJack?
So, Minister of Joy and Fun.
Right. Mojaf.
And that's what pretty much almost everybody knows now. They call me that.
Mojaf. Right.
You can call me Craig if you want to. If
Right.
you want to give me shit about still being Craig, that's fine.
No, why would I do that? No, I ordained you. Come on.
I'm saying other people. I'm saying that's the way when I introduced myself. And then one of those magical things happened where Eckhart Tolle, right when I was starting to tell people, and this one particular girl, Jess, who was the one who got fired, that was hanging out last night with us, our buddy, she's like, teasing me about it one day about the Mojaf thing, and I said, "Hey, this is the new me." And
No, it has been the you for your whole life. You're just coming out.
Right, but the spiritual name thing, and then and he said, like, that same day, he came out with this thing about, somebody asked why did he? I didn't even know he changed his name, but he took on Eckhart after his spiritual awakening.
Oh.
Just because he saw it like in a book, and then somebody else confirmed it. He just got that confirmation, like with me. And I said to Jess, I went back to her because she's one of those kind of negative people that doesn't quite get it. She wants to believe. And I said, "Look at this. After we just talked about it yesterday, and you're giving me shit about Mojaf, and now look at this thing that I sent it to her."
Right.
She watched it. She said, "Yeah, well, because your phones are listening."
Right.
I said, "So this guy who put out these things to millions of people, who's one of the most spiritual people in the world, he changed that because of my phone, because of me talking to you. If he's that close paying attention, then I'm good with that too. I'm good with that."
Right.
That means, I'm really connected. And that's, but anyway, it was just beautiful how that confirmation came out.
Well, we're all connected. We're all our relations.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. And it's, the universe has all the time in the universe for us to understand that. And if we have to, go another, million years of being with our head stuck on the sand, then, that's fine with the universe. It's what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of the trip I had too. The trip was hard. This guy kept telling me. Actually, he was telling me it's kind of weak because it's been sitting there forever or whatever. But I had a pretty deep trip about. I got caught in that loop again, which I sometimes get caught in. And I was sitting there with them, but I was very comfortable in the house with these guys. And then I was like, "Oh no, here it goes again! Don't! I'm not getting in this loop." And I did. And then it had some other things about how you're not, you're doing something wrong.
Right. I mean, really, that's why, I write about how there is no real bad or good because it is so subjective. One man's bad is another guy's good, And so if the worst thing you can do is judge. That's good. This is bad. Oh, if you're the judge of bad and good, you're not doing what you're supposed to. You're supposed to be with your eyes wide open and being suppressing your disbelief and seeing everything for what it is. That's and that's what Emo Jeff does. Emo Jeff does that. So okay, homie, that sounds all good. I'm glad you had a nice time. So until I see you next. Oh, so what's going on in the college across the street? Are they doing stuff for the summer, or are they closed?
I haven't seen anything. I think they're mostly closed, but they're starting to gear up for their shows. They put on some great shows, so I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for that. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we can go to one of those shows.
Well, yeah. Who would I go talk to volunteer?
What'd you say?
Who would I go to volunteer? When you put on a show, you always need volunteers.
Right. So. Yeah. I don't know. That's definitely possible. I've been, I noticed actually the door was slightly open yesterday when I was walking around. And
to the library?
No, the theater.
Oh, okay. Is that where they do the shows, in the theater, or do they do it out in their field?
No, there's a couple theaters. They do one right here, and then they do some at the school, the old historic school too.
Mm-hmm.
Both walking, right in this area.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll have to go and investigate. When I come looking for you, I will go over there first and investigate. So anyway, you stay well, and we're not even in summer yet. This is we're still in spring.
Yeah.
And I'm really loving it because it's 70, 80 during the day, and at night it's in the 50s, so I can sleep with my little comforter, and it's all good.
It's been great. I was bragging about it yesterday to be 68 degrees in June.
Yep. It's what it should be.
All right, sir.
Okay, baby.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks for calling. Catch you later.
Of course. Bye.
Yeah. So that's our boy, and so he was as grumpy. He was on the same lane as John Boy, right? So let's call John Boy. Let's see what John Boy is up to, since you can't see me and I'm still here. And let's see. Not quite 10 a.m., so I still got some time. Let's see if John Boy even answers the phone. Boop, boop, boop.
Hello.
Hey, handsome, how you doing?
Hi.
Just checking in, seeing how you feeling. How you feeling?
I felt a little bit better today, but I had many days of feeling my worst.
When was
I had
that?
many days of feeling my worst.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's motivating that?
I had said mean things to.
More than me? You said mean things to other people other than me?
It was because my kids are in Texas for 5 years, and I woke up in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
and they had been gone for so long. And I said, "What am I doing here alone?" And I felt like I should be there with them. And I called them. I kept trying to call them, and Rowan answered. And I said, "Why did Granddad do this? I hate him." And I said all this mean stuff.
Right.
And then I had asked God that if I was ever mean to anyone in a way that might hurt them,
Right.
I asked God that it hurt me instead.
Uh-huh.
So what happened was after that, before that, I was feeling amazing. Those videos, jogging, feeling good about my health again,
Mm-hmm.
and looks, and everything felt okay. But after I said that mean stuff on the phone, it hurt me. Well, all of a sudden, my body started hurting from working out with weights for many weeks and running and all that. And I couldn't work out anymore, and I had to lay in a bed for a day, and I got depressed. And then the next day, I had to lay in a bed the entire next day. And then for many days, I kept having to lay in a bed because my body was exhausted from the workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And like I didn't want any permanent damage or anything, but I got very depressed. And I ordered 3 bags of charcoal, and I was going to put it in a grill and breathe it in the bathroom and kill myself.
Oh.
Because I didn't know how to get back my kids.
Well, you know, I've told you many
But then
times,
finally,
if you want your kids back, what you got to
I
do is
felt
go to
okay.
Texas and be
Somehow,
with them.
I didn't kill myself. Nothing went that bad to where I got okay. But I had to suffer because on the phone I said to Rowan, I don't care if Granddad and Mimi die since they brought
So
you.
what did Rowan say when you said those things to him?
He got angry. He said, "You may as well be some crazy killer who shoots people in a shopping mall." And he said, "You faggot." He hung up the phone.
Well, you know, that's why you have to, you know, like I said, if you want to go to Texas and be with them, I'd be happy to be there and be your navigator, you know, your
But then-
driver.
Yeah, no, maybe. I don't know.
Because, you know, if you
I
want
can't
to be
afford
with
it.
your kids, you have to be with your kids. You can't, I mean, you know, Danica, you know, last year said she'd put Rowan on an airplane and send him to you. You know, she was ready to do that. You know, all she wanted you to do was be checked out by a doctor. You know.
Yeah.
But John, you live in a beautiful place, and you know, you sent me that thing you sent me was unfreaking believable. But because you went on and on how I'm jealous that you had, you know, no, I'm not jealous. I was in the school for almost, you know, more than, you know, almost 12, 15 years. You know, I enjoy that place, you know, you know, I don't have a jealous bone in my body about your life. Your life is.
I maybe happened to say that one time and didn't even think about it.
Oh, John,
really
you know, I could read it to you. You know. You printed maybe, I don't know, 20 pages. You just went on and on and on and on and on to the point that it became humorous, you know? And I didn't feel bad. I mean, it didn't quite, you know, I've known you almost 12, 15 years. And you know, you've said that to me 100 times. You know, thrown me out, you know, 32 times, you know? Well, you know, if you feel bad, then don't do it again, you know? But you continually do it again because you let yourself be controlled by those thoughts. You know, I keep saying, you know, don't let those thoughts in your head. Just you know, sweep them out of the way. Because John, you are a good, honest, kind, gentle person. Be that good, kind, gentle person. That's the guy you are. So be that.
Okay.
You know, you really are. And you got a ton of talent. You're a great painter. You're a great artist. You're a great musician, great filmmaker. You're great at anything you do. Every time you put your mind, you've made 3 major films, you know, and that's a real accomplishment. The fact that no one wants to watch them, it's not your problem. I mean, it's not your fault because I've watched your films and they're good. They're as good as most of the stuff that's out there in the market. You just don't have anyone to market it, you know? So, you know, you know, I write these novels, not so much that I'm going to be rich and famous with them. I write them because I enjoy writing them, you know, basically, so you should just, embrace that beautiful, kind, gentle person you are. And if you do that and not call up your kids and say those things, um, things will work out for the best. So just don't let that negative side get a hold of you. I mean, it attacks everyone, but you don't have to let it affect you, you know? And that's what I've been trying for years to assist you with. Why I've been around you is to be the example of a guy who's no more different than anybody else, but I don't let that negativity get a hold of me. I understand it, I investigate it, I see where it comes from, and then I try to help. And you have that in you, So, do that, buddy, you know. So why don't you get out? It's going to be a beautiful day. Instead of running up and down that hill, just take a walk. Go take a walk on the path, the spiritual path I made up behind the chalet, and then up the hill, and then back down. Just walk that. The one that you used to run up, carrying 100 pounds of belt, barbells. Don't take the barbells. Just walk up. Just do the walk. You know and enjoy it. Take one of those folding chairs and go up there, because there are a lot of really nice spots that you can just put the chair and look out into the forest and just let that
I'm
beauty.
getting off the phone. I don't like the way this sounds.
You don't like the sound of the beauty. Yep. So see, what that was the negative spirit got a hold of him, because all I talked about was the positive nature he has, and the fact that he lives in a beautiful place. And he's allowing the angst that is constantly around us. Why do you think wars are going on, and global warming's happening? It's because all our relations, the work in progress, that natural is Father Sky, Mother Earth, Holy Spirit. It doesn't understand our psyche per se, right? It can feel it. So if it feels people angst and upset, it will, oh, you want to feel upset? Sure, here, right? So I just gave John an alternative, a path because all he has to do is walk up that path. And he used to run up that path carrying 100 pounds worth of barbells, because he had to, right? And, and it's a pretty steep thing. So to do that, yeah, you could hurt yourself, but if you just, I made it so I made it when I was still 100 pounds overweight, and I was only 3 years from being dead. And I made that path because I knew I needed to walk like that. And I, cut it out of the forest. I scraped it out. My dog Bella, she laid it out, right? And we found all these sacred spots, right? And that's where I had camping spots up there, and that's where I had, when I had my mystery school, I didn't have them stay in the school. People, I want to stay in the school. I said, no, you're not staying in the school. You're going to go up there. And I made them, dig, slit trenches. What? I have to go to the bathroom in a trench? I said, yep. Oh, I can't do that. That's why I made them pay me up front. And talking about that, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. And thank you, all those who sent me things in my PayPal. It has kind of kept me alive. And why don't you, anyone who can, send some money to PayPal when they say who? It's the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. And anybody who wants to talk to me, Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. So I love you guys, and I'm about to bop off because what time is it now? Oh, it's 10:30. Still, the day is young. I am going to go run my errands, and I should be back on the at the my office of the elevator music. Oh, by noon, between noon and 1, I should be over there. So thanks for everybody who showed up. Jane Pooh, thank you for always being here. You're a great supporter. And anybody who wants to talk to me, dudewake42 at Gmail. Dudewake42 at Gmail. And I'm on, if you're in Europe, I'm on WhatsApp. I'm on whatever that other one is. And, you know, let's talk. If you're in America and I can call you up, let's talk, right? And you can be part of the show or not, right? Whatever. So, I love you guys. You stay well. And remember, PayPal, dudewake42 at Gmail. Dudewake42 at Gmail. And thank you for being here. And I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this to show you love's co-creation, right? And if the cadre is only 475, well, that's great. Quality over quantity. And thanks to all those who come and watch. Thanks all those who are here. And there's Janie waving at me. I love you too, Janie. And so you stay well. And like I said, sometime between 12:30 and 1, I'll be back. Okay? And think about what you want to do this summer, right? And my first friend, Craig, who's a bartender in Banner Elk. There's this guy, Angelo. Angelo's came there, and his father and his grandfather came there, and they were mobsters, right? And so they came up there in the 80s with about $40 million, and they bought up all of Banner Elk, all the property around, and made crappy gated communities, right? And then over the years, and Angelo has a real style, and his talent is to do exactly what he does. So there was no town really of Banner Elk, and so he made it. He bought all the property where the two main roads are, and the only thing that kept Banner Elk alive was the college, right? And so, and there was a hospital, a mental institution, and those were the two things. So he bought up every piece of real estate that he could, and that center, he made like a little town center, with big parking lot on one side and this big field on the other. And he built, maybe a building that had 6 buildings in it and a total square footage of maybe 20 to 30,000 square feet, number of floors. So he has 2 bars with a nice open space between the 2 bars, one called Angelo's and the other called the Bayou. And he rents the Bayou out, and he runs his, the one named after him. He's got a super duper elite steak place. And, so the people who are basically working for him that had it easy because not everyone bought up places in the exclusive gated communities. But after the 2019 pandemic, he made a windfall, right? And so to the point where his poster child came over and bought up all the property over by me, and those are the locust cockroaches coming in, right? But there is no Angelo's or everything else that he built. He built a great Mexican restaurant. He built a number of these strip malls where people could come and have their little dream restaurant. There's a really great Thai restaurant, and that lady, she's Vietnamese, and so she has a Thai Vietnamese restaurant, and next to it, a bar that was like straight out of it's not called Cameron Bay is what it's called, right? And then next to it, there was a place called Shady's in Cameron Bay, which was a place where all the Army guys would go to get laid, tattoos, and it was a nightclub, crazed place, and it was based on Diamond Tees in Fayetteville. And so, that's all still there. And so, I mean, that's the thing about Banner Elk. It's got all this crazy stuff. That Angelo, and that's Angelo's great gift. He keeps doing stuff like that. So that's, even though his his grandfather was a mobster from, New Jersey. And then they went down to Florida. Grandfather did, they bought a lot of stuff there. But then the Cubans came in. And so, around the 80s, when the Cubans really came in, they came up here and bought all of Banner Elk for nothing. And they started building all this stuff, right? So it's what it is. And I mean, He built it up so much that Lowe's built the Lowe's. He built it up so much that Walmart's came in. I mean, this place was that they didn't have a supermarket. They had nothing, and Angelo built it up to the tourist joint it is. That Lowe's and two supermarkets, Food Lion, I forget the other one, and a number of other big box stores are there because of Angelo, and that's America. Even if though he's a mobster and all that, the $40 million he came up probably prostitution numbers and drugs and um, whatever else. I have no idea. I just I'm a guy who looks at trends. I can just tell someone shows up with $40 million and just does it's like a little Las Vegas, right? And yet it did pretty good. It does have its you know so all the holler people who you know made a living building all that crap, and it's all crap because it was built by all these drunk, addicted holler folk, and so it's not really up to snuff. Now Angelo's stuff is because he went out and got people from Charlotte and other places to build really nice stuff. But the other stuff that the rich people who built their, bought the lot and built their house, those things are falling off the side of the house, and they look like shoe boxes. It's like anyway. And Angelo was smart. He had their gated communities, and they have homeowner associations, but there are no rules, right? So people can do whatever the heck they want. They just get the fenced in area, so they have their own version of a jail that they're living in. And that's what a gated community is. And so, but it destroyed the water table. It depopulated the animals around there. Things of that nature. Anything that had to deal with nature. It's at a point, between because it increased the cars by 1,000%. When before Angelo, maybe there was like 400 cars that would go through there. Right now, maybe 20,000 to 300 during the hot season. Maybe 300,000 cars go through there a day. So, and it's in a valley, so it's like boom. It's like I used to live in Boone back in the 70s, and you could smell honeysuckle. Now all you can smell is diesel. You know, so and that's the world. Everyone is embracing, and that's fine. As Mother Nature says, oh, we want that because Mother Nature lives forever. I mean, an asteroid hit this place and wiped out everything. And then 16 million years, here we are, right? So, and we are somebody's science experiment. We are not, please. We are not. We are mud puppets. We are a spiritual entity living in a basically a transhuman device. That's what our bodies are, transhuman device, an electrochemical device, with somebody's robot. So, you know, that's what I talk about. That's what I'm going to talk about a little bit more this afternoon. And I'd love to hear about what are you planning to do this summer? What are you going to do? Like I'm starting a religion. I mean, a real religion. The lawyer lady, she and I are going to, get a 501c3 and start the real deal, right? And I've already, tested it. Put my toe in the water around all the people, and the people are sick and tired of the old school Baptist crappy. Because all these ministers who are fire and brimstone and talking about, blah blah blah, they were all on the list that the Baptist, Southern Baptist, whoop-de-doo, had this list of all the guys who were doing evil deeds. So, they all want to do their own thing. So when I say, I'm going to start my, oh, wow, they've known me 20 years. You start a religion? Yeah, let's join. So it should be interesting. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I am, John Boy, oh, I can't go down to bed. I could be that way. I mean, this morning I woke up, every little, let's see, it says, who is it? It's somebody. Hey there. Hello. Oh, my public pharmacy. Okay. I'm having my, having some operations on me in about a month. And so they want me to start getting on drugs. Those things came in. So that's good. Um, what else can I say? That's about it. I'm signing off for now. What time is it? Whoops. Oh, it's still not even 10:45. Okay. The day is still young. Okay, gang. I love you. I'll see you later this afternoon, sometime between 12:30 and 1.